The Sustainability Week event is coming back to Pokemon Go starting Thursday, April 20th. It'll be Sustainability Week. And with this week, we have the debut of 3 new Pokemon. Here we got Bounsweet, and Bounsweet has an evolutionary line here where it evolves into Steenee, and then evolves into Tsareena, right? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the event a little bit, and I'll let you know just how good Tsareena is in Pokemon Go. So when it comes to the sustainability event, there really isn't a whole lot going on. We got a different pool of wild encounters. For the event pool, things aren't looking too hot, I guess. I mean, Cottony now has, its evolution now has Fairy Wind, but it's still a pretty common Pokemon overall. We might encounter Larvitar in the wild, which is, what's sustainable about Larvitar? I'm not sure, but you know, I love me some Tyranitar, so that's all fine too. And then we got 3 new Pokemon. Yeah. For the eggs, nothing to write home about. There's an event bonus where if your buddy is an Ultra Buddy or higher, it'll bring you souvenirs more frequently, and you can get hearts with your buddy more rapidly too. And then there's going to be special gifts that they give you that have more berries in them or are more likely to have a bunch of berries in them. I don't know what these souvenirs are supposed to do. Like, I haven't really paid attention to the whole souvenir system because I don't think it's ever done anything, but if you know what these souvenirs do, you know, comment below in the comments there and let me know what souvenirs do in this game. For the research, nothing too interesting either. I mean, Trubbish is pretty exciting just because I love the guy, right? Field research is Drillbur, new avatar items to look like Tsareena a little bit, and that's about it. So the event's looking a little bit like a flop, but just how good is this Tsareena? So taking a look at Tsareena's stats here, you can see that it has 222 attack, which isn't that great for a grass type Pokemon. There is a lot of grass type competition out there, so I feel like when it comes to being a raid attacker, this ain't the good. Then when it comes to the defense and the HP, they're both a bit on the low side too, lower than the attack even, so this doesn't really bode too well for Tsareena when it comes to PvP either. So as a raid attacker, Game Press here is rating it as a B+, because it is serviceable, and its move pool, as you're going to see in a bit, isn't that bad for raids, but you know, if you got some Frenzy Plant Pokemon already, I don't really see a whole lot of reason to bring this thing. And when it comes to high attack Pokemon, sometimes there is some like niche utility for them in, you know, the Great League or the Ultra League, depending on what move pool they have and if they hit the right numbers, so things could be better for the Tsareena. Pulling it up in Great League PvP in pvpoke.com, you can see here that its stat product is about on par with Trevenant, so if Trevenant works, maybe Tsareena can work. Tsareena is a mono grass type Pokemon though, so it doesn't have the ghost type subtyping, you know, carrying it like Trevenant's kind of carried there by the ghost subtype, and it sure ain't got no same type attack bonus boosted Shadow Claws or Shadow Balls either to help it compete as a grass type, at least in comparison to the Trevenant. When it comes to the fast move pool, we got Charm, Razor Leaf, and Magical Leaf. When it comes to being a Charm user, if you're not a Fairy type Pokemon, like maybe in a Goofy Cup, being a non-fairy charm user might work out, but usually it doesn't, and I haven't really experimented with that ever since the charm nerf, so it's probably not good. Like at a base, not good, and now these days with the charm nerf, definitely probably not good. When it comes to being a Razor Leafer, you kind of need a little extra something going on to stand out compared to the Shadow Victory Bell, which is like the bread and butter Razor Leaf user. Like you got the Torterra. Torterra's got that debuff potential with the Sand Tomb. You got Grotle, which has the Body Slam action, and you got Cherim. And Cherim's got the Weather Ball Fire for like the counter coverage against other grass type Pokemon, right? Tsareena though, I don't really think it has that extra something it needs to really stand out as a Razor Leafer. So finally we got Magical Leaf. Not a lot of Pokemon have Magical Leaf. If you're not too familiar, this is a pretty middle of the road attack, like balanced damage and energy gains. So it's not like a bad attack, but it's not a particularly good attack either, or at least Pokemon that have gotten it haven't been particularly good, right? So it kind of depends on the charge moves, just how much we can make out of this Magical Leaf. And when it comes to the charge moves, we got Grass Knot, which is serviceable. But you can see PvPoke here is pulling up Stomp. And Stomp is Tsarena's kind of like signature move. You know, it's the long-legged pretty lady step on me kind of Pokemon, which we awkwardly have, I think, 3 different kind of Pokemon that fit that description. But yeah, Stomp's not too good in PvP, no. And we also got Energy Ball, which is just kind of a copium kind of grass move. If you got Grass Knot, there's basically no reason to ever use Energy Ball. And then we got Draining Kiss, which it's not Moonblast, and it's not Disarming Voice, so it's bad. Basically, every fairy move that's not those moves are bad. So yeah, Tsareena's not looking like it's going to be it in the Great League. Doesn't look like it's going to be it in the Ultra League either. Doesn't look like it's going to be it anywhere. Now, if you're curious about Steenee, for Great League PvP, level 50, it's not even crossing 900 CP, so yeah, Steenee's got nothing going on. And I think it's kind of in the same move pool situation as well. No Magical Leaf even, what gives? So yeah, overall, I'd say these Pokemon are kind of a flop. Just collectibles, don't need to worry about it, but they're not too hot. I kind of do want to take a moment here to get on my high horse, though, about these fairy-type charge moves. I feel like a lot of grass-type Pokemon, like mono grass-type Pokemon, or Pokemon that are grass-type in general, that could be good with having fairy-type as like an extra coverage move, just kind of get shafted with like Draining Kiss and Dazzling Gleam, because like the stats, they're not that great. If you look at these attacks compared to like Psychic, right? They could buff Dazzling Gleam or Draining Kiss, and I don't think anybody would lose their hat over it. Like Dazzling Gleam, I feel like the big fear is that if you make this move too good, maybe it might be, good for the Chansey. But Chansey already uses Psychic, and Psychic has higher damage per energy than Dazzling Gleam does. So I feel like somebody at Niantic needs to stop being a coward and buff Dazzling Gleam a little bit. That way, Dazzling Gleam havers like Blossom and Jumpluff, they'd be doing a little bit better, right? Oh yeah, Mew gets Dazzling Gleam, and what is it? Shadow, Alolan Ninetales gets Dazzling Gleam, but I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if they just buffed it a little bit, so the grass types that they poison with this move can do a little bit better. And same with Draining Kiss. I mean, I'm assuming that they're saving Draining Kiss to buff as a defense boosting move in the future. Even if it does boost defense, I don't think it's really going to help, Tsareena that much, but they're just kind of leaving it in the water here as like a super bad move that nobody wants, and then they just give it to our new releases. Like, well, what's going on, Niantic? Do you want our pretty long-legged lady Pokemon Step on Me lady kissing you? Is that your headcanon there, John Hankey? Well, if you're going to do that, at least make Draining Kiss a good attack so it's actually kind of good to use in the game, right? At any rate, that's all I got to say about Sustainability Week and Tsareena here. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below. Let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. If I had a quarter every time the Pokemon Company produced a long leg lady Pokemon who uses Stomp a lot, well, I wouldn't have enough money to buy a remote raid pass, so